Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the National Family Legacy Podcast. My name is Andy Palomares, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in today. Today, I had the awesome opportunity to sit down with Monica, who is one of the directors here at Youth Hope. Youth Hope is an organization here in Redlands, California, that helps almost 6,000 youth find food and jobs and so much more. And the conversation was really great, and I'm excited for you to hear it.
Welcome to the National Family Legacy Podcast, where we explore uplifting narratives from organizations making a positive impact in our world. To connect with us or explore further, visit our website at nationalfamilylegacy.org. We're thrilled that you've joined us for today's episode.
Hi, Monica. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy that you're here on the podcast. So right now we're here at your guys' facility, the Youth Hope Center here in Redlands, California. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your connections to this facility, Youth Hope?
Yeah, so I've been with Youth Hope since 2009. My official title is the Director of Grants, so I'm in charge of all of our grants, writing grants, following up with grants, all the reporting and stuff. But I started out with helping Heidi, our executive director, start Youth Hope. We would walk around downtown Redlands with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and just kind of see who was out there. And after that, I was on the board for many years. And then in 2015, I came on staff as the director of grants.
Awesome.
So,
wow, that's
yeah.
awesome. So Youth Hope got its beginnings in 2009, you said?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And so you guys started off by taking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches around. Did you guys just go to the parks or the local youth areas, or?
Yeah, we really, Heidi had a vision in previous years, we traveled up the coast with our church group, and we would stop at different shelters. And there was one shelter up in Seattle that was like a youth shelter, and that really pulled at her heartstrings. And so when she came down, she was like, I want to start something like that. And so she wanted to see if there was a need for that. So we would take backpacks of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and just walk around the mall, and we would walk just at different parks. And we quickly found that there was a need for support for homeless and at-risk youth.
Wow.
And so we would just spend our days doing that. And then from there, once we kind of started getting more kids, then we would start meeting at churches or at Sylvan Park, kind of whoever would take us, where we could have like those gatherings.
Got you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this started off just you and Heidi just walking around Redlands. At what point did you guys find like your own facility? Because we're here at your facility now in Redlands.
Right. Yeah, and there was a lot of other volunteers. She quickly recruited a lot of people from like our church and just from her different friend groups and stuff to help us. But then we obtained this facility in 2015, but it was a fish restaurant, and it needed to be totally revamped. So we had to take, everything out, and anything wrong with the building that could have gone wrong was wrong. And so we spent quite a few years just with volunteers. A lot of them came from Loma Linda, would come every Saturday, and they would just help us rebuild this whole facility. So we officially moved in where it was like workable in 2016. But while we were working on it, we were meeting out in the parking lot in, all kinds of weather, raining, 105-degree heat. Like we were out there just feeding the youth. We had like a big trailer or like a cargo trailer kind of thing, and we would open it up and we would have clothes in there, and the kids would come and do what we do now, but we did it outside in the parking lot. And then things that we needed, maybe internet for, we would like go to McDonald's and do job resumes, or we would go to the library. So we did what we needed to do, but having it at this facility, all in one building with air conditioner, is a lot nicer.
A lot nicer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's so fun that this was a fish restaurant before that, and now it's a youth center.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I'm hearing a little bit of the things that you guys provide. It sounds like food, shelter, sometimes some clothes, and then also helping with job resumes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the programs that you guys provide for the youth, and what is it like for youth to come? Is it come at any time? Is it between 9 and 5? What does that look like?
Yeah, so right now there's over 4,000 homeless youth in San Bernardino County.
Wow.
And so there's definitely a need. And so when Heidi started Youth Hope, we really just were open, like, what do you guys need help with? So over the years, we've really kind of honed down like what youth need help with. So our main core programs, we do education and job training. So we always, our first step for youth needing help, like, are you enrolled in school? And so we partner with the Redlands School District. We partner with local community colleges. And Redlands School District will get our kids in, fast track. They don't have
Right.
to do all the, like, they'll get them into school.
Gotcha.
Because we really feel like the road to self-sufficiency is through education.
Yeah.
So that's always our first thing. And then with job training, we have volunteers who help write job resumes, will help job searching. We have multiple kids a week get their food handler's license.
Oh, nice.
Because when kids go into like a fast food place to put in their resume, the fact that they can say, like, I already have my food handlers, kind of puts them above
Right.
other applicants. And so we really want them to be prepared to go out and be ready to work. We also have hot meals in a food pantry. So we feed our kids here a hot meal every day. And then we also take a hot meal to the park twice a day and feed kids there. Our food pantry, we do grocery boxes for anyone who needs food. We started that in like the COVID era,
Wow.
where we were realizing that people just didn't even have money for food. So just providing food boxes, and we provide over 50 of those a month. So we do that. We also have a clothing closet where kids can come in and get free clothing, shoes for free anytime.
Wow.
And we have really great donors who give like good quality clothes, because what 15-year-old wants to go to school looking
Right.
like maybe they're homeless or they don't have the money for that? So we
Gotcha.
really try to provide good quality clothing where they can go and be confident at school.
That's awesome.
We also have a medical and dental program. So we have a pediatrician that comes here once a week that will meet with our youth. We also have a licensed therapist that's here a few
Wow.
times a week that also will meet with our youth free of charge. We partner with a lot of dentistry. So if a kid needs a dentist, we can set them up with that. Pretty much like whatever they need, we want to be able to help them. And then lastly, we also have a housing program. So we have 2 houses, a boys' house and a girls' house, where youth 18 and older can live in those houses for pretty cheap rent. And it's kind of to give them, to kind of clear that last roadblock for kids who are on the road to self-sufficiency. So they're in school, they have a job, and maybe they just don't have a place to live. And this kind of takes away that roadblock so
Right.
that they can kind of excel from there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys do so much for the youth in San Bernardino.
Yes, we
What
do.
was the number of youth that you said were experiencing homelessness here?
So in San Bernardino County, there's over 4,000. It's around
Wow.
4,500
Wow.
youth experiencing homelessness right now.
And is that is there a common story happening there? Is it just families that are facing troubles, or do you guys see a common story of youth coming through these doors?
Yeah, a lot of times it's either family homelessness. So, we've seen families that are living in cars, or they're kind of motel jumping, where they just can't make it. And we also, we have runaways. We have just kids who don't have a safe place to go. So maybe their
Gotcha.
parents aren't safe, and so they end up on the streets.
Right.
So at Youth Hope, since 2009, we've seen over 6,000
Wow.
different youth.
It's amazing.
Just in the last year, we've seen over 1,000 different youth. So
Yeah.
it's a program a problem that's growing, not shrinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just more and more, troubled youth that are, or not, I want to say troubled youth. There's, youth experiencing these hardships in this
Yeah.
area. It's very tough.
Yeah.
You said you guys have had 6,000.
Over 6,000, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are there any stories of youth that stick out to you, that have come through your facility here and that you could share with us?
Yeah, we've had so many success stories, and I think that's really what keeps us going. One story particular that sticks out is one of our youth, Joey, who's been coming here since he was a young teenager. He was actually in foster care from a young age. His mom actually would put him in boiling water and burn his legs. And
my
so
goodness.
he was put into foster care, and he was adopted by one of his foster families. And his mom ended up passing away when he was kind of younger. And his mom was like his best friend. And so he came to Youth Hope looking for family, and he has said it himself, he feels like this is his family here.
Wow.
And so we just really wanted to help him just in any way, maybe be that connection to him where he can still be successful. And so he would come for food. He's come just to hang out, to be a safe place. And he recently, now he's graduated from high school. We got him into the high school he wanted to go to. He was successful. He graduated, and he really wants to be in like the fire department.
Awesome.
And so even as a young kid, he would follow fires, and firemen, and really just wanted to be involved in that. And so he started the EMT program a couple months back, and he's had a one-on-one tutor that's met him here weekly or multiple times a week, actually, just to help him get through that test. And he actually just passed last week. And so he graduates this week with his EMT. Yeah, and so it's really cool to see that even against the odds, I mean, statistically, he shouldn't be, like when you lose so many family members, it's hard to like kind of pick yourself back up. And so we're just so proud of him that he's like stuck through it and really has fought for his life.
That's
and so,
amazing.
Yeah, so we're all just super stoked on that.
That is so incredible. Yeah, and I'm sure for you guys to see him throughout the different stages of his life too, through high school, to see him make this big step and become an EMT, that is incredible. Yeah. And for the youth that come through, is there like a specific, like, 'cause I was a youth pastor for a while, so I saw them from junior high all the way through high school. Are most youth that are coming here sticking through like all those years, or are they coming like sporadically, or do you guys have kind of like classes that come through?
Yeah, I would say it definitely depends, but some kids might come in and they might not be homeless, but they might just not have a lot of food at home. So we'll see them for 10 minutes while they come grab a meal, and then they leave. But then we have other kids, like Joey, who has been here for years. Like, he comes every day for years. So it really kind of depends on what the kids need. I mean, we've had kids as young as like 11 come in here just needing help. But our goal is definitely to help them move forward. Yeah. So we want to be able to provide them with resources so they don't need us anymore. We're always here, but it's great when they are, they have a full-time job and they're busy. And we love when they come back to visit because, they all of a sudden have a life of their own. They have an apartment, they have a job, a career, not just a job, they have a career. They, start growing families. Like, we've had youth bring their kids, and it's, so we definitely have that, but every kid is so different. Every youth is so different that we try just to help them where they're at and see them kind of move forward.
Yeah, so I love that. What I'm seeing is that you guys provide so much of the practical things that will push them forward. So food and helping them with shelter, job applications. Yeah. On the other side of that coin, what is it like for a youth that comes through on the mental health side of things? Are there, common stories there of experiences? Because, I mean, already, being a young kid growing up in any condition, teenage years are hard, and you have all these hormones going on and a lot of, maybe self-image issues. What is that like for a youth to come through here? Is there a common story, and how do you guys help them through that?
Well, over 50% of our youth will say that they have like mental health issues. And so that's one reason we got a licensed counselor to come in here. Before that, we were taking them to a local therapist who was great, but it's really hard for our kids for them to feel safe anywhere. So when they come in here, it takes them a while to be safe. Like, you can notice, like, kids will kind of be on the outskirts or they're not going to really talk a lot. And our goal is always to break those barriers, show them that we're safe, show them that we're trustworthy. And then from there, we can't help them unless they trust us, Right. And so once they trust us, they knew that they needed maybe therapy or some kind of intervention or help, but to take them out of here and bring them to another office where they don't know anybody and they don't know the therapist, we were seeing like a lot of roadblocks with that, because then they would close up again. And so having a licensed therapist here has been so helpful because they know her, and they already feel safe with her, and they don't have to leave anywhere. They just go in a safe, quiet room where they can talk about their problems. And so that was kind of a really big thing that we implemented this year. Nice. And then, if a lot of our kids do need different medications to kind of help them. And so that's why we work with a doctor. We'll take them to doctor's appointments, kind of get them whatever they need.
Wow.
We also have a skills class that we have partially throughout the year, and we have a licensed therapist that also teaches that, and a lot of that is on depression, suicide, mental health issues, that how to cope in a healthy way with those things, which a lot of our kids, they just weren't taught those skills. They weren't taught that, okay, if I'm sad, I need to do this, and they were maybe taught to turn to alcohol or drugs.
Right.
And so trying to teach those basic skills to kind of help them is also a really big goal of ours.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think when you're youth, you kind of will model maybe what was around you.
Yes.
And that could be in the positive and the negative.
Yes.
And I think another thing is like environment really matters. And when you're surrounded by other people that are kind of doing things that are good, or just being taught by adults that can handle their emotions in a positive way and won't lash out.
Yes.
That does a lot,
Yeah.
And I can see that, maybe it's one of the biggest thing I can imagine for youth coming through is that they want to trust, but they haven't had a safe space to trust people, and Youth Hope provides that space where I can trust my peers, I can trust these adults who want the best for me, and I can imagine that that's really important.
Yeah, that's definitely our goal, is to be a safe place for them in whatever way that looks like.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So I understand that NFL contributed some money for a project that you guys had. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're so thankful. One of our biggest pieces of each of our programs that I talked about earlier is one-on-one case management, and that is what our goal is, and that's kind of why I think we are successful. We don't just send kids out like, here, go do this. We work one-on-one with them. So like in Joey's story, he had a one-on-one tutor with him. He wasn't sitting in a classroom, or we didn't send him to like some program. He got one-on-one attention from our tutor as long as he needed, as many times as he needed.
Wow.
And I mean, he's successful. And so we have that in all of our programs. So all of our kids in our housing program get one-on-one. They have an RA that lives with them. And then we also have a housing director who meets one-on-one with them. For job training, we also sit one-on-one while they do their food handler's license or while they build their resume. And NFL contributed to our one-on-one case management program. And so that is just so helpful, because without that, I mean, a lot of our youth don't know what to put on a resume. They don't know the first step in getting back into school. And so if we were just like, just go to the school district and sign up, like they would have no idea what to do. And so having that one-on-one is what makes our youth successful, and that's what they contribute to. And so we're just so thankful, because without that one-on-one program, we wouldn't see the successes that we have.
Got you. Wow, that's amazing. And I can see so much value in that for sure. I even think growing up in high school, I tried to go get a job for the first time. I had to muster up so much courage, and I went it's a small story. I went to the local car wash, and I was so embarrassed, and I went up to the guy, asked him like, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And he just was like, "No, not at all." And it wrecked me, and I found a job eventually. But I can imagine that growing up, you want to get a job, you don't know exactly where to start, who to trust, where to look, and having that one-on-one help I can see that as a real asset for these youth.
I mean, the best a kid, it's hard to do. I mean, even there's some things I still do. I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
So having someone who knows how to, and then all these added barriers that these youth carry with them, like it's what helps them, gives them the courage, makes them feel safe. I mean, we've had people that want our case managers to like go into doctor's appointments with, or like therapy appointments, because they feel safe with them. And so being able to not even just help them, but also be kind of like that safe person, like, okay, I can do this as long as I have my buddy with me,
Yeah, that's
it
amazing.
really helps.
On that topic, working with youth when I was a youth pastor, sometimes it took a long time to get these kids to open up, and sometimes I was given advice from a pastor friend of mine, and he said when you're doing youth work, sometimes it's almost like you're planting seeds that you won't see until later on, and how has that been here at Youth Hope? Is it kind of like takes weeks for them to open up, or months or years, or are there some youth that just immediately they just feel safe and they start opening up? What does that timeline look like for youth?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different for each kid, and maybe the I mean, just personality wise, but then also maybe some of the hurt that they've experienced in their life. But we've had kids who, you know, open up really quickly and we're able to help them. I mean, I keep thinking back to Joey, like he was just like really open to the help and really easy to help because he wanted it so bad. And we've had other youth who, you know, we're like, oh my gosh, we tell them to do one thing and they do the other thing. But then they'll come back years later and they'll be like, you know, in our hearts, we're like, did we even help them? But then they come back and they're like, I got a family, I got a house, I got a job, and I want to be here without Youth Hope. And we're like, dang, like
that's amazing. Yeah.
And so like you said, really a lot of time it is planting seeds. Maybe they just needed that a little bit of encouragement, or they needed someone to believe in them. And we're here to tell them, like, you can do this. Like, odds aren't in your favor, but we know that you can do this. Like, you're strong enough. You don't have to follow in your family's footsteps. Like, you can go be successful. And, you know, a lot of times maybe that's all they need. Right. Or maybe they need more hand-holding, or, you know, we've had lots of successes. And then, you know, there's also been really sad stories. But, you know, we really focus on the youth that we help and kind of do all that we can do for them.
That's so amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think back to youth leaders. I had a youth pastor growing up that was very, you know, involved in my life. And, you know, sometimes when you're youth, you don't know the 2 words, thank you. Like, you don't know how to say that. And it's not even that you don't feel it sometimes. You just don't know to express it. And, it's not till later on that you see that. And I'm sure that you guys are going to continue to have these young people grow up and come back and say, you know, Youth Hope was a place where, you know, I found hope. I found people I could trust. So are you know, I'm sure there's people listening right now and they're like, man, Youth Hope is amazing. I want to help out. What areas do you guys need help out? Is it financially? Is it time-wise with volunteers? How can people contribute to Youth Hope?
So we always need, obviously, financial help. With the one-on-one case management, a lot of times it's just that person sitting down with them helping. So that would be financially to contribute to like a case management program. Other ways, we are always needing clothes. So clothes donations that are nice looking, that our kids would feel comfortable in going to school in. We also always need groceries for our grocery boxes. Like I said, we give out 50 a month.
Wow.
And so we go through groceries really fast. And that's any type of grocery items like cereal, spaghetti, soups, like anything that someone could take home and either make it quickly or easily, maybe not needing too many ingredients. We also always need like $5 gift cards to fast food restaurants, because when we do take kids to like appointments or doctor's appointments or school appointments, we always make sure their tummies are full before they go, because it's hard to focus if you're hungry on anything. So a lot of times we'll do that, and so we always like to have some on hand to take them there. And then we do need volunteers. We ask for like a 6-month commitment because of that, building trust. We don't want people coming in and out of their lives. They already have enough of that. And so we ask for like a 6-month commitment, just coming in like once a week for a couple hours. We're open all day, but most of our youth are in school until 2:33.
Right.
And so our busy time is in the afternoon, where we like bring out the hot food and really sit and help. So this place is buzzing at like 3 to 5:30. And so that's kind of when we need the volunteer help. That does require like a background check and some training, but that is a huge need of ours as well.
Got you. Yeah, that's amazing. I can see some people listening. Maybe they don't have the funds to contribute. Maybe the time they have. 2:30 to whenever you guys close. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there any last encouragements you can leave us with? Because maybe there's a parent listening and their hope their youth is experiencing something troubling, or maybe there's a youth that happened to stumble across this podcast. Is there any encouragement that you can give us?
I mean, keep going. Like if you need help, reach out for help. There are so many programs in place and so many people wanting to help that a lot of times, sometimes it's just asking for help. And also just be kind to people. I think if you were to see our youth on the street, you might think, oh, those are just some punk kids, but really they each have like a heartbreaking story that we know nothing about, and they're going through stuff that we can't even imagine. And so even just like a kind word, or maybe instead of yelling at the teenagers, if they're doing something good, tell them, because I think a lot of times like a kind word can go a long ways.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Monica, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we look forward to the next time we can come hang out, and
Yeah.
we wishing nothing but the best for Youth Hope.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.